Hi, I am Valery Molone, leadership coach, motivational speaker. Thank you so much for tuning to my channel. Today's topic is about 3 ways that you can get better paid than you deserve in your job. Today I'm going to talk about make yourself valuable, communicate better, and have a proof that you actually did your job. So let's just start with, what do I mean that make yourself valuable? Now, me working in so many places, I'm speaking from being an employee and being a boss. So I see both sides of the coin and see how it works. A lot of time at workplace, we are not really clear of what's going on because either the worker is not a good worker or boss is not a good boss. And it's very important to work in a place that you love, be in a place that you are actually feel comfortable in being yourself. Why? Because think about it, working and having a job is our home away from home, right? We spend 8 hours a day in our work. So you have to work someplace that you love, the people that you work with, your boss. You don't have to love your boss, but you have to feel comfortable with your boss. And you have to be in a place that you can actually get up in the morning and instead of like keep hitting the snooze that I don't want to go to work, and be like, okay, you know what? I love my job. I want to go. I help people. I do something. I learn something. And that's really what work is about. But regardless of all of that, we work to make money. And sometimes we deserve better than we make the money that we're making right now, right? So how can we bring that to a workplace? How can we ask for a raise? How can we say to ourselves that I want to make more money in this job? And here's what I'm going to tell you, because I've tried this for 20 years. I work in a places for myself and now I'm a boss. So from both sides, I see how it can be misunderstood. Now, a lot of people say to me, well, I want to make a lot of money. I want to make a lot of money. I want to make a lot of money, which is really great. But ask yourself this question: are you have those values? Are your work is valuable enough to make that kind of money? And I know it's hard to say that, right? Because everybody wants to make money. Who doesn't want to make money? No matter how much money you make, you still want to make more money. But sometimes it's really good to sit back and say to yourself, do I have the skills, the qualities, all of these things that goes with the work? Do I have it in order to make more money, in order to go ask my boss for more raise? So it's very important. If you start a job someplace new and you want to make money, this is the first thing you should ask. Get a proper training. Even though some people are in a job for 10 years, right? If you do something and you're doing it for 10 years, obviously you have a skill and you know how to do it. But a lot of people forget that when you go to a new place, when you resign your job and you go to a new place and you're doing the same thing, the job is the same, but the people are not the same. Your coworker is not going to be the same. Your manager is not the same. Your boss is not the same. The value of the company is not the same. So it's very important to ask for proper training. Possibly 2 weeks, if not at least 1 week, because you want to get to know the people. We all look different, we all think different, we have different values. So you may have the skill, but you need to get to know the environment of the office. You get to know those people. What do they want? What the manager wants for you to do. You may have the skill, but he or she may want you to do it in a certain way. So don't be shy to ask for proper training. When you start a job, if you don't know, say, you know what? I would like to be trained at least for a week or 2 to know what I'm doing in this new company. So that's adding value on top of what you know when it comes to making more money. The other thing is that you have to learn about your job. A lot of people, they just simply say, I know it. I've been doing this for 10 years. I can do it with my eyes closed. That's not true. We always learn something new. And if you can go in a job with open-minded, with open heart, and say to yourself, there's more to learn. And that will put you better than the workers that are like, oh, I'm just going to go 8 to 5, do my job, come home, get my paycheck, and that's it. Nothing is worse than having a worker that is not bad enough for a boss to fire and not good enough to extend in the company, but yet is in the middle part. It just comes in, robotically does the work and go home. And I always tell my kids, No matter what you do, give it 120. So even though you have a lot of practice, you've done it before, if you work for a new company, if you're changing a job, or even still if you're in your job, keep learning. Try to keep learning. Go around, ask questions, familiar yourself, learn about your job. Technology is going up now. I mean, everything is changing. Everything is changing. There's always room for more and more and more to learn. So that's another thing that you have to implement in your job in order to get better pay. The third one is be flexible. Oh, that's the worst one. A lot of people are so designed to say that I'm working 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. It's okay to be flexible. It's okay to stay a little bit late. It's okay to go a little bit early. It's okay to train somebody and take your time. It's just that take that mentality out of your head that you have to go there right on time, rush into traffic, go there. I punch in at 8 o'clock. I have to be there at 8 o'clock. And sometime you're like 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late, you're coming in all flustered and sitting over there. That really affects your job. It affects your mood, and when it affects your mood, it affects your job. So be flexible. Give yourself a time. If you stay 1 or 2 days late at work to finish your project, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because believe me, your manager and your boss will recognize that, will know that I have a great worker that's coming in time, that stay a little bit late when is necessary, not all the time. You don't want anybody to take advantage of you either, but just have that flexibility mentality when you go to work. It makes it so much easier on yourself, and it makes it so much easier for the company that you're working. That's are the stuff that you have to keep in mind if you want to make more money. Number 2, and this is very, very important, and a lot of companies are lacking this tremendously: effective communication with your manager, with your boss, and with your worker. A lot of us just simply think that, we know it all, right? You go to a work, and this is really for people that are been in a job for a longest time. Either they're switching job, going to a new company, and getting the same job, thinking they can make more money, or the company even offering you more money. The job is the same, but the pay is higher, right? But they still come with that mentality that, okay, you know what? I'm sitting in my little cubicle. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it. Learn to communicate. You have a voice. So if you feel like there's something that you can tell your boss, there's something that you can tell your manager, there's something that you can share with your coworkers to bring up the company. If you have a great opinion, if you have a great idea, say it. A lot of people have so many great ideas about the company, about the work that they're doing, but simply because they're not getting paid enough, they're just keeping it to themselves and say that, you know what, they don't pay me enough to tell them what to do. And that's a bad attitude. Why? It doesn't affect the company, because if you leave, somebody else is going to come in. But it's you. You raising your voice. You're telling people that I know more than you think. And it makes you look good. So it's very important to raise your voice. If you do have an opinion, if you have a comment or something that improves your company, be sure to go ahead, write it down, discuss it with your manager, discuss it with your boss, and say, hey, listen, I have this idea that can make time slower and faster, or that can make the company better, or that can make our communication as a whole team better, or that can make us more money, bring us more revenue. Go ahead, share your idea. Believe it or not, I'm a boss. I know when I get a workers like that, I always appreciate, because you know what? Everybody has a great ideas all the time. Unfortunately, some of us don't share because we just value ourselves based on our pay, not so much based on our talent. The other thing that you have to remember, when you communicate, a lot of people in the workplace, they have a lot of questions they don't ask. Number 1, because of embarrassment. Because they feel like if I ask about this project, or if I ask about this position, I feel like I'm stupid, or I feel like I don't know enough. Or if my boss finds out that I don't know enough, or if my manager finds out that I don't know enough, I'm going to be embarrassed. And there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Asking question is a best way to learn. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually love when my worker comes and asks me questions, because I know they care. So change your perspective and say to yourself, instead of saying that, oh, I don't want to embarrass myself, just say, you know what? Maybe my boss will appreciate it. Maybe my boss will see me that I'm actually trying to learn about the company. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally, if my workers that have worked for me for the longest time and they never have a question for me, it kind of make me like curious. Because why? You're going to sound like you know it all, right? I know it all. I don't have to ask a question. I don't have to give my opinion. I'm just here. I'm making my money and that's it. So like I said, it's just not about the company. It's about yourself too. The more question you ask, the more you're going to learn about your job. Even more, because your coworker has a different position. And if you talk to them, if you ask questions, not only you're going to know your own position, but you're going to learn a little bit about their position as well, which is a boost up to your boss. Because if somebody doesn't show up, your boss can say, hey, listen, can you do this? And you're like, yeah, actually I can, because I talked to so-and-so the other day and I know how they're doing their job. I can help you. And I know as a boss, I would appreciate that. I would be like, wow, this is great. So don't think you know it all, okay? And number 3, here, this is very important. Have a proof that you're doing your job. Now, we talk a lot about workers, but let's talk about boss, okay? And I'm a boss. I have my own company. I have people working for me. And this is what I expect from my worker. Number 1, when you come to work in the morning, have a list of stuff that you are responsible to do. Now, don't be one of those people that you come to the office, you're an amazing person, you're trying to help everybody, and then at the end of the day, you're not doing your job. So your boss is out, and your boss has no idea what you did, and then when she or he comes to the office, he's looking at your work, and you're like, how come you didn't get your job done? Well, but I helped so-and-so. Well, but I did this. Well, but I did that. Your boss is like, unfortunately, boss, don't look at it as in, oh, you are a great person. Now remember, our workplaces have to be someplace comfortable, have to be someplace that we love. But we're not there to be a best friend with people, right? We're there to get along with people, be nice to people, do our job, because your boss is paying you for that job. So don't go over there and be a charity trying to do everybody else's job and then not do your job. It's very important. If you don't know what you're doing, ask your manager, what would you like me to do today? Write it down, and as you're doing it, check it off. So if your boss, one day in a bad mood and comes in, hey, you're not doing your job and this and that, these were my responsibility. I got it all done. And that's what you protect yourself and to show everybody that you are doing the job. That requires you to document everything. Now, don't go ahead and verbally say it. Here's another mistake a lot of people make. They verbally tell people what I have done. Now, when you do, there's no proof. There's no proof that you actually got it done. I did this, I did that, I did this, and then boss has a lot of worker. Your boss has a lot of other workers. He or she can't possibly remember what you said. So it's always good for you to document everything, have everything. So if a day comes in and they're saying that, hey, listen, last week you were here and we didn't feel like you did your job. You take all your document and you say, well, my responsibility was these and I have it done. I have a document that I got it all done. So not only your boss gonna appreciate it, because you're reminding them and you're showing them how good of a worker you are, then you're gonna feel better because you don't have to worry about anything. But if you verbally going telling people what you're doing, and you may even do it, and you may be the greatest worker in the world, but protect yourself, make sure you have a documentation of everything that you're doing during the day, 5 days a week, and a month and a year. You can always rotate it, you can always get rid of it, but make sure you have it at least for 6 months, because you can always go back 6 months and show your manager or your boss what have you done in that work. And the other thing is very important, back up your documentation. Back up your documentation. Don't just have it on your work computer, because your work computer, your servers belong to your company. So you have to have something on your own personal computer, so that way, if they lose the information in the company, and if they don't have it, or somebody erased it, or somebody accidentally deleted it, you can always have a backup and show it to them that you have done your work. And these are the quality as a worker you have to accomplish. You have to know in order to make more money. Don't just be going around and asking for making more money, because As a human, we grow. As a human, we learn every single day. And you have to go with the mentality in every job, I don't care what job it is, to say to yourself, everything that I'm doing, I'm learning something new. And that something new add a value to your resume. And I notice a lot of people that have a little job. I'm one of them. I used to work in a lot of places. They say, I know, should I or should I not put this in my resume? Yes, you should put it on your resume. I don't care if you work 3 days someplace and wash the floor. Because you know what? That's a skill. Everything that you do in your life is a skill. So put it on your resume and confidently go to your boss, ask for a raise, and say, hey, I deserve more money. And I guarantee you, your boss gonna love you and gonna say, I have no problem giving you a raise. So try these 3 strategies if you think you wanted to, or you're deciding to go ahead and ask for a raise from your boss. Before you do that, watch this. Just apply it and go over it, and you will go with the confidence and ask for a raise. And for those of you, if you think that you're getting underpaid, make sure that you go through these steps and say that if these steps are, I'm doing it, and check it off and say to yourself, I'm doing all of these, then go ahead, raise your voice and ask for a raise, because you, my dear, deserve a better pay than what you're getting right now. I thank you so much for watching me, guys. By the way, if you guys wanted to listen to my podcast, I do that a lot. I talk about different subjects. Make sure that you visit ValeryMolone.com and like this video, leave a comment. Till next time, have a great day.